Students, welcome back to Sound in Physics. Last time we had seen at the end free or natural vibrations, and we had drawn the diagram. In the diagram we saw that free or natural vibrations have constant amplitude and constant frequency. So the amplitude of vibrations don't decrease. But now that is not practically possible because there will be surrounding medium, and due to the presence of surrounding medium, the amplitude of vibrations would go on decreasing. So that is known as damped vibrations. So damped vibrations are most of the vibrations that happen in nature. If you pluck the string of a guitar, the sound doesn't go on forever. The intensity of sound will decrease and gradually after some time you won't hear it. If you burst a cracker, the sound may be loud, it may travel a long distance, but the sound will not be heard forever. After some time, the amplitude of vibrations go on decreasing, and then once the amplitude of vibrations is totally zero, then that sound won't be audible. It wouldn't be heard. So the periodic vibrations, these are also occurring at regular intervals of time, so they are called periodic. The periodic vibrations of a body of decreasing amplitude in the presence of resistive force are called damped vibrations. So these vibrations are of decreasing amplitude and they occur in the presence of the resistive external force, that means the surrounding medium. Usually the surrounding medium is air, but yes, if you make a noise inside water, the surrounding medium is water. So the surrounding medium is what is causing this damping or decrease in amplitude. So this figure is very important, so is the definition. The figure has been asked in the boards. In one of the papers the figure was given and you were asked to identify what sort of vibrations it is. So damped vibrations, this is the displacement time graph of damped vibrations. Usually whenever you draw any graph, the y-axis, what you have taken on y-axis is written first. So the word displacement is written first, and what you take on the x-axis is written after that. So time is written second. Now examples, any vibrations in air. So vibrations of a simple pendulum in air. Simple pendulum means any string on which on the one end you have attached a bob and on top there is a fixed support. If you push it and it starts vibrating, the amplitude of vibrations will go on decreasing. The amplitude of vibration goes on decreasing. Why? Because of the presence of surrounding air. Same way, if you pull the branch of a slim tree and the branch starts shaking, that is also an example of damped vibration, because after some time the branch will stop shaking. It will not keep shaking forever. So these are examples of damped vibrations. Everywhere when you write damped vibrations, the thing is that you have to explain that it happens in air and it is not in vacuum. In case of free or natural vibrations, you had to write the word oscillations of a simple pendulum in vacuum, or vibrations of a pencil or vibrations of a ruler in vacuum. So that was free or natural. This is damped vibrations where the amplitude goes on decreasing. So that is what is mentioned next. In case of damped vibrations, the damping occurs due to the presence of external medium, air or any other surrounding medium. Due to the frictional force, the amplitude of vibration decreases. Now, a note based on this. What are the factors on which the amplitude of vibrations, the decrease in amplitude of vibrations depend on? It depends on one, the nature or density of the surrounding medium. Obviously, if there is a denser surrounding medium, then the amplitude of vibrations will decrease faster. And it also depends on the shape and size of the vibrating body. Even the natural vibrations, the factor affecting the natural or free vibrations, I had told you, every body, this roller, that table, the board, anything, a door, everything has something known as its own natural frequency, and that depends on the shape and size of the body. So the board, depending on its shape and size, will have a certain natural frequency. We don't have to know what are the factors, but you just have to know that it depends on the shape and size, that is distribution of mass. So if it is a smaller board, the natural frequency of that board will be different from this board. So here the rate of vibrations depend on the nature of the surrounding medium. Like I told you, the damping will be more if the surrounding medium is more dense, and the shape and size of the vibrating body. So that is about damped vibration. Next we will see what is known as forced vibrations. What is forced vibration? Generally you will see that, let's say you have a mobile phone or something that is kept on a table. Let's say you take a vibrating tuning fork, and that vibrating tuning fork you place it on the table. Then the table also vibrates. Or if your mobile phone is in the vibrating mode and it is placed on a table, suddenly you will feel that when some call is coming, the table starts vibrating. The table has its own natural frequency. The mobile phone has its separate natural frequency. That is a unique frequency that is on your SIM card. Your number is unique. No two persons have identical number. So the SIM card has its frequency. Every SIM card has a different frequency. So your mobile phone starts ringing. That is a special case of forced vibrations, which we will see, that is known as resonance. But the tabletop, because that mobile phone was placed on the tabletop, and since the mobile phone was in vibrating mode, the tabletop also starts vibrating. That vibrations of the tabletop is a typical example of forced vibrations. So a unique case of forced vibration is resonance. We will see these two things in the next frame. Now, forced vibrations, the definition: the vibration of a body which takes place under the influence of an external periodic force acting on it are called forced vibrations. So what does this mean? So let's say you are playing or plucking the string of a guitar. So you are plucking, or the artist is plucking it at constant intervals of time. He may not pluck the same string. As I told you earlier, he will pull his hand up and down, that is to change the effective length of the string. Because of change in effective length, the frequency changes. If the effective length becomes less, the frequency will increase. So he's changing the effective length and playing the strings, but when he's pulling the strings execute forced vibrations. And they will cause, there is a sound box, you know that there is a box below the strings. That air in the sound box is forced to vibrate. The string vibrates, and due to the vibrations of the string, you will see that the man or the artist who is playing the guitar is not plucking the string here and there. He doesn't do this. He is only pulling the hand up and down to change the frequency, and he keeps plucking it at the same point over the small opening on the sound box. That is because the air in the sound box will undergo forced vibrations. The string is also executing forced vibrations because you are plucking it, and that forced vibrations causes forced vibrations in the air inside the sound box, due to which what happens, greater sound is produced, amplified sound is produced, because that air inside the sound box has greater area. So that is what is causing the louder sound, and that is why such a big sound box is provided beneath a guitar, underneath the strings of a guitar. So when you execute forced vibrations, there are three forces that is taking place. There are three forces which are there acting. One is you are applying the force. That is one force. That is the periodic force, externally applied periodic force. The second force is the restoring force. In 9th standard you had learned Newton's third law. Every action has equal and opposite reaction. So when you pluck the string of the guitar, the string automatically exerts an equal and opposite restoring force, because of which it tends to come back to its initial position. So the string has inertia, it has elasticity, and it tries to come back to its initial position. So the action force is plucking the string, and the reaction force is the restoring force trying to bring the string back to its original position. And the third force is the frictional force due to the surrounding medium. That is the force which produces damping. So action force plucking the string, reaction force the restoring force causing the string to come back to its original position, and third force is the restoring force, that's the frictional force which is causing damping. So that is what is given here. Forced vibrations definition: the vibrations of a body which take place under the influence of an external periodic force acting on it is called forced vibrations. In case of forced vibrations, there are three forces acting on the body, namely the external periodic force, the restoring force, that is equal and opposite force to the external periodic force as per Newton's third law, and the frictional force which causes damping is the third force. Now note, the amplitude of forced vibrations depend on the frequency of the external force. The amplitude of the forced vibration. That means a louder. See, in sound, greater the amplitude of vibrations, louder will be the sound. So a loud sound will have greater amplitude. That part of the chapter remains. That is, after these vibrations and resonance, we will go to the last part of the chapter, which is about the amplitude and frequency, and how does amplitude and frequency and quality of sound affect the characteristic of sound. So before that, we have to do about these vibrations. So the amplitude, more the amplitude, that means what is amplitude? You had seen the waveform in the first lecture when I had explained technical terms. The maximum displacement of the particle of the wave on either side of its mean position is known as amplitude. More the amplitude, greater will be the intensity or loudness of sound. So now in this case, if you are applying an external force, now whatever force you are using to pluck the string has got some natural frequency. So if that frequency of the external force and the frequency of the guitar or the string of the guitar matches, then a louder sound is produced. That is called resonance, a special case of forced vibrations. But we'll come to that a bit later. Right now we are just telling that if the frequency of the external force is not equal to the natural frequency of the guitar or the body, then such forced vibrations will have very small amplitude and will soon stop due to damping. So that means, let's say you have a mobile phone which is kept on a tabletop, or a vibrating tuning fork which is kept on a tabletop. As the vibrations of the tuning fork decreases due to damping, the forced vibrations of the tabletop will also stop after some time, very soon, if the tabletop and the vibrating tuning fork do not have the same frequency. So in case then such forced vibrations will have very small amplitude of oscillations and will soon stop due to damping when the frequency of the external force and natural frequency of the body is not equal. So some examples of forced vibrations which I have already told you. Number one, when the string of the guitar is plucked, forced vibrations are produced in the air in the sound box below the string. So you know that in the guitar there is a big sound box. Even in a sitar there is a sound box. So you pluck the strings, that air inside the sound box is forced to vibrate, and that is why louder sound is produced, because greater area of air is forced to vibrate. But still, it will stop after some time and it will be not very loud sound, because it is not the frequency of the external force and natural frequency of the guitar will not be the same. Same way, if you have a vibrating tuning fork and if the stem of the vibrating tuning fork is just pressed against the tabletop, then because the tuning fork is vibrating, it forces the tabletop to vibrate. So the tabletop experiences forced vibrations. These are examples of forced vibrations. You can be asked distinction between some, like for example, damped vibrations and free vibrations, then forced vibrations and damped vibrations. Those distinction betweens are given very nicely in concise. Please refer concise for the distinction between. Generally, lengthy questions are not asked in your boards. You have very objective type of questions where the answers are one line or one word. So, write all this in your notebook. We go on to the next frame. So now natural and free vibrations and forced vibrations. What you've just learned. Distinction between the two of them. Now in natural or free vibrations, the vibrations of a body in the absence of any external or resistive force is caused natural vibrations. In that case, you had seen that the amplitude of vibrations is constant, the amplitude is not decreasing. Now forced vibrations, the vibrations of a body in a medium in the presence of an external periodic force are called forced vibrations. So in this case, in natural vibrations there is no external force, absence of any resistive or external force. Whereas in case of forced vibrations, there is presence of external periodic force. That is the main difference, and that is the difference in the definitions also. Now natural vibrations, the frequency of the natural vibrations you had learned, it depends on the shape and size of the body. So remains constant and it depends on the shape and size of the body. In case of forced vibrations, the frequency of vibrations change with the change in frequency of the applied force. So it depends on the frequency of the applied force and it changes with the change in frequency. And the third and last point under natural vibrations is the amplitude of vibrations remain constant. In the previous case we were comparing the frequency. Now we are comparing the amplitude. The amplitude of vibrations remain constant with time, but you have to specify because we are assuming there is no surrounding medium in the absence of surrounding medium. Whereas in forced vibrations, you would say that the amplitude of forced vibrations depend on the frequency of the applied force. So amplitude of forced vibrations, that means how much it vibrates, also depends on the frequency of the applied force. In this case, it remains constant. The amplitude remains constant, so there is no question of any increase or decrease in amplitude because in this case there is no external force acting at all. It is just depending, the amplitude and frequency depends on the shape and size of the body. Here there is an external force, so the frequency of the external force will determine the amplitude of forced vibrations as well as the frequency of the forced vibrations. So that is distinction between free vibrations or natural vibrations and forced vibrations. Now we see the next part, that is resonance, which is a very important part because usually one question based on resonance is asked in the board exam. Some give reason or something is asked based on resonance in sound. So resonance is a special case of forced vibrations. So is resonance a forced vibration? Yes. It is a special case of forced vibrations in which the frequency of the externally applied force on a body is equal to the natural frequency of the body. So the frequency of the externally applied force on the body equals the natural frequency of the body. In such a case, the body will vibrate with large amplitude and can produce a loud sound. In this case, if the frequency of the external force and the natural frequency of the body is the same. I told you every body, this cable, this board, everything has its own natural frequency. So if the frequency of the external force happens to be exactly equal to the natural frequency of the body, then in such a case the body will vibrate with large amplitude and a loud sound is produced. For example, most of you would have seen ads in which a singer is singing at the opera and there is a wine glass placed there and that singer is singing with certain frequency, maybe it's a loud sound but the loudness is not affecting the breaking of the glass. Sometime what happens is that the frequency of her sound and the natural frequency of that wine glass, the wine glass is extremely thin glass, so that two frequencies match, due to which the wine glass it cracks. That is a special case of forced vibrations known as resonance. That's an example of resonance. You would have seen, of course, the ads make it little more like personified. They show that the glass is breaking and it's scattering all around. Doesn't happen that way. It just cracks. That cracks because the natural frequency of a sound and the natural frequency of the glass, that was exactly equal. The two frequencies were exactly equal, due to which the glass began to vibrate with maximum amplitude, and since it is thin, it cracked. There are many other examples of resonance also. For example, sometimes, usually a driver would know it, that when he is driving a car or a bike, some part of that car or bike may start vibrating vigorously at a certain speed of the engine. The speed of the engine can be altered by a mechanic in any service center. So, when he finds that there are such vibrations of big amplitude which is happening and which is not making the ride smooth, in that case he will go to the service center and ask them to set the speed of the engine or to change the speed of the engine. By doing that, those forced vibrations, which are a special case, that is resonance, that will stop. So that vigorous vibrations of the rear view mirror of the bike is an example of resonance. In that case, what happens? The frequency of the engine, the force exerted by the engine, and the natural frequency of the mirror is exactly equal, due to which the mirror starts vibrating with maximum amplitude. Then there was an incident long back in the 18th century in Europe when soldiers were crossing a makeshift suspension bridge. See, sometimes the soldiers have to cross over small streams or rivers, so they make a temporary bridge and then they cross over. People didn't know about this, and that time the soldiers started marching on the bridge, and suddenly the bridge collapsed and some soldiers fell inside the water. This happened due to resonance actually. When they march, all their feet go up and down in phase. That means all of them are marching with the same frequency. All of them are lifting the leg up at the same time and hitting the bridge at the same time. So the frequency of the force, that is the marching steps, happen to be exactly equal to the natural frequency of that suspension bridge, due to which the bridge began to vibrate with maximum amplitude and it suddenly collapsed. So that is also an example of resonance. Then when you fine tune your radio, your digital, of course nowadays everything is digital, so once you have tuned it once, it remains set in your mobile phone or on your iPhone, any of those things, it remains set. So then you just have to press that button and that particular 98.3 FM or whatever you want to hear comes up. So what are you doing when you are fine tuning the radio, or when you buy a new TV, when you do an auto tune of the stations, of the different channels? You are making the frequency of the components of that radio or television. There are parts inside the radio or television known as capacitors. You are making the frequency of those internal parts of the components of the radio to be exactly equal to the natural frequency of that incoming radio wave. Radio waves are entering your house. You will learn in electromagnetic spectrum that television and radio waves are continuously entering and present everywhere. That is why when you tune that radio station, if the natural frequency of the electronic parts of the radio and the incoming wave is exactly equal, that is when resonance is produced, and only that particular station, maybe 98.3 FM, maybe only that station is heard. The other stations, waves are there, but that is not affecting the radio and it is not producing any sound because those are extremely small vibrations or forced vibrations. This is examples of resonance. Now we will see some of the give reasons or further examples of resonance next. And in the board exams, some examples of resonance are asked which we will check and we will solve in the board questions. In the board questions given at the end of the chapter, once we complete the chapter, we will solve them. So we will see few examples of resonance first. So this is very important. Conditions for resonance. Resonance occurs only if the frequency of the applied force, externally applied force, is exactly equal to the natural frequency of the vibrating body. For example, I told you if the opera singer when she is singing, if her sound frequency and the natural frequency of that wine glass is exactly same, only then that wine glass will vibrate with maximum amplitude and it may break because it is thin. So the condition required, only one condition is required for resonance, that is the frequency of the externally applied force has to be exactly equal to the natural frequency of the vibrating body. In such case, resonant vibrations, the name of those vibrations with maximum amplitude are called resonant vibrations. Resonant vibrations, that is vibrations of large amplitude will be produced. So the vibrations of large amplitude will be produced. And now we have intensity or loudness of the vibrations is directly proportional to the square of the amplitude of the vibrations. Therefore, a loud sound will be caused or produced in case of acoustic resonance. In case of acoustic resonance, loud sound is produced because in case of resonance, the amplitude of vibrations is very large or maximum. And since the amplitude is maximum, the intensity or loudness is directly proportional to square of amplitude. So loud sound is produced. Now when you hear the word acoustic resonance, it is same as resonance only. Anything related to sound is called acoustics. So when you hear acoustic resonance, don't think that it is something else and that sir has not taught us this. So acoustic resonance is same as resonance. Since amplitude is very large, therefore loudness is also, a loud sound is produced. Now a simple example or demonstration of resonance. Here you have a rubber string, a fixed rubber string, and you have 4 different simple pendulums suspended on it. Rubber string has got good elasticity and so transfer of energy takes place fast and easily. That is why rubber string is used. So if the rubber string is used and let's say A and B have the same length, C is shorter than A and B and D is slightly longer than A and B. Now last year you learned about time period of simple pendulum. You had learned that T is equal to 2 pi root L upon G or 2 pi root L upon root G. You have done sums also based on this in the first chapter of simple pendulum. And you know that frequency is inversely proportional to time period or frequency is 1 upon T. So if you were to write frequency formula, you would have written it as 1 by 2 pi root G upon L. So that means the length in this G is constant, pi is constant, 2 is constant, G is 9.8 on Earth. So time period is directly proportional to root L or frequency will be inversely proportional to root L. So in case of simple pendulum, the frequency of the simple pendulum would be inversely proportional to root of length. This is from the formula that you learned last year. So both A and B has the same length. So both A and B will have the same natural frequency. So you had learned factors affecting natural frequency is shape and size. So here it is the length. You are not bothered about the size of the pendulum or the mass of the pendulum because that is not a factor. Last year you had learned it is not a factor that affects the frequency of the pendulum or time period of the simple pendulum. So A and B having same natural frequency, obviously C is shorter, it will have a different frequency, it will have a greater frequency, and D is longer. Longer means inversely proportional frequency and length. So longer the length, lesser would be the frequency. So A and B, if it has a certain frequency, same frequency, C will have a bigger frequency than A and B, and D, because it is longer, it will have a smaller frequency than A and B. So now if you push A and A starts oscillating, you will see that C and D are not much affected at all. They experience forced vibrations. C and D experience forced vibrations. Why? Because the frequency of A is not equal to the frequency of C and D. So there is no resonance, there is only forced vibration, and because in forced vibrations the amplitude is very small, therefore C and D will stop vibrating very soon. You will hardly see them vibrate and immediately stop. But B has same natural frequency as A. So you will see that B starts vibrating first. Initially the vibration will be of small amplitude, but gradually B will start vibrating with the same frequency and same amplitude as A. So when A is at this extreme position, B will be at the other extreme position, then they vibrate in phase, and when A goes to the other extreme position, B will be at this extreme position. So those vibrations are called vibrations in phase. And A and B is experiencing what? Resonance. That is a special case of forced vibrations. B experiences resonance, whereas C and D experiences forced vibrations. So that is the figure that is shown, and based on this, questions has been asked in the board exams also. Name the type of vibration experienced by C and D when A starts vibrating. Obviously the answer would be C and D experiences forced vibration. Name the vibration experienced by the pendulum B. The answer would be resonance. Then you would be asked, what is the condition for resonance? The condition for resonance is that the natural frequency of the external force should be exactly equal to the frequency of the body. So if that condition is satisfied, then vibrations of maximum amplitude or resonant vibrations will be produced in B. And then you could be asked the definition of resonance. So those are generally questions based on this. The questions asked are never lengthy, the answers are never lengthy. It is usually one line or one word answers. So we will continue with this and continue and write that C and D also, they have experienced forced vibration and not resonance, because they have different length and so they have different frequency from A. Now this is what I had explained in case of those four pendulums, that A and B are same length, so they are experiencing, B is experiencing resonance when A was forced to vibrate. The vibrations of pendulum B are in phase with that of pendulum A, that is, they reach the extreme position on opposite sides simultaneously. So when A is at that extreme, B is at this extreme, then they move this way, A comes to this extreme, B goes to that extreme. That is what is mentioned here. Pendulum C and D, they had different lengths. They experience forced vibrations because their natural frequencies are different from the frequency of the pendulum A. Hence, vibrations of C and D will be of very small amplitude. That is what was mentioned, that C and D experiences forced vibrations. Now, second example of resonance which we are seeing in detail is resonance in a radio and TV receiver. When we tune the radio, we are trying to match the frequency produced by the electronic components of the radio and make it exactly equal to the natural frequency of the incoming radio waves of that particular radio station which we want to listen. So even that is an example of resonance. What is happening? I told you that all around us there are radio and television waves. So when you tune your radio, inside your radio there are certain electronic components. They are going to emit certain frequencies, and that frequency of the waves emitted by the electronic components inside the radio and the frequency of the incoming waves become exactly equal, then resonance occurs, and so the particular radio station only will be heard with maximum amplitude. This also is an example of resonance. So they could give you that you are trying to tune the radio set or your television set. Name the phenomenon that you are trying to achieve. The phenomenon that you are trying to achieve is resonance. They ask you objective questions. Then again I had explained that soldiers are asked to stop marching, or they are told to break their steps when they cross a suspension bridge, because in case the frequency of the force exerted by the feet is exactly equal to the natural frequency of the bridge, then the bridge will vibrate vigorously due to resonance and could collapse. So please write all this in your notebooks. Please keep writing all this, and as I told you, learn it simultaneously. You will be having the test of these online shortly, and then once the tests are over, you can even do the assignments at night. As I have told you, first you learn the chapter, then you do your school assignment based on that chapter. So bye, we finished today's video there. Bye.